Imagine trusting God so much that you actually write him a letter asking for money and expect a reply. Sounds unbelievable, right? But this is exactly what Lencho did. Today, we are going to master a letter to God. Not just the story, but everything you need to score full marks in your board exam.
This chapter is written by Gregorio Lopez y Fuentes, a Mexican author known for portraying rural life. It is a story of faith, hope, irony, and human kindness. Main characters of this story are Lencho, a hard-working farmer with unshakable faith in God. Lencho's family, dependent on the crop. Postmaster, a kind-hearted man. And the post office employees, helpers in the act of kindness. The story is set in a rural area where Lencho, a poor farmer, lives with his family. His house is the only one in the top of that hill. Lencho eagerly waits for rain because his crops need water. When it starts raining, he feels happy and hopeful. But suddenly, the rain turns into a hailstorm. Large hailstones fall like ice, destroying the entire crop. Lencho's happiness turns into despair. His only source of income is gone. He is worried about his family and thinks that there is no one to help him. But he had complete faith in God, and throughout that night he was thinking about the help from God who sees everything. He believes God will help him. So, he writes a letter to God asking for 100 pesos to survive and sow his field again. He went to the post office and dropped the letter. The postmaster laughs at first, but soon he is moved by Lencho's faith. He decides to help. He collects money from his colleagues and contributes himself. They manage to gather 70 pesos and send it to Lencho, signing it as God. The next Sunday Lencho reached the post office to receive the letter from God. Such was his confidence. Lencho receives the money but finds only 70 pesos instead of 100. Instead of being grateful, he gets angry. He writes another letter to God and posted it. The postmaster was watching all these and suddenly opened the letter and he read, "Next time, don't send money through the post office, because the employees are a bunch of crooks." Now, let's understand the important themes for exams. Faith. Lencho's blind belief in God. Irony. The biggest twist, Lencho trusts God but suspects humans. Human kindness. The postmaster helps without expecting anything. Hope. Even in disaster, Lencho believes in survival. Now, let's take a closer look at the two most important characters in the story, Lencho and the postmaster. Lencho is a poor but hard-working farmer. He lives a simple life and depends completely on his crops for survival. What makes Lencho unique is his unshakable faith in God. He firmly believes that God will help him in times of need. However, Lencho is also innocent and somewhat naive. His faith is so strong that it blinds him from understanding human effort. This is clearly seen when he receives only 70 pesos. Instead of feeling grateful, he assumes that the post office employees have stolen the rest. So, while Lencho represents faith and determination, he also shows a lack of trust in people. On the other hand, the postmaster is a symbol of kindness and humanity. At first, he laughs at Lencho's letter, but soon he is deeply moved by the farmer's faith. He decides to help, not for recognition, but to keep Lencho's faith alive. He collects money from his colleagues and even contributes a part of his own salary. This shows that he is generous, empathetic, and selfless. In contrast to Lencho, the postmaster represents practical goodness and human compassion. Through these two characters, the story beautifully highlights the contrast between blind faith and human kindness. The following are the literary devices from the story. Irony is the key device in this story. Lencho calls the post office employees crooks, even though they helped him. The hailstorm symbolizes destruction and loss. And the story contrasts blind faith with human kindness. Now, let's quickly go through the most important exam questions from this chapter. Why did Lencho write a letter to God? How did the postmaster help Lencho? Why was Lencho angry after receiving the money? What does Lencho's character tell us about faith? And finally, what is the irony in the story? This story teaches us that faith is powerful, but we must also trust and appreciate human efforts. If you understood this chapter clearly, share your opinions below. Subscribe for more such complete CBSE explanations. See you in the next lesson.